With ESRI location technology, you can see relationships, connections, patterns. You can see what others can't.
So good morning and welcome to day 2 of the Datamark Virtual Public Safety Conference. I'm Jason Bivens, the Director of Business Development for the Datamark team. I just want to take a second and recap a little bit about day 1. It was super exciting. We had over 830 participants across the 6 sessions we offered. The highest attended session being our Address, a Practical Guide with 193 participants. And we started the day hearing from Brian Fonts, the CEO of NENA, about how they're supporting the 911 community during the COVID-19 pandemic and this emerging event. Other topics range from dealing with various personality types to preparing for emergency communication center deployments. I'd really like to personally thank all of our conference sponsors for yesterday that provided content, including NENA, Rapid SOS, One Spatial, and our government partners who provided great insight in panels and presentations. We have another day full of content for you, starting out with the keynote that you're here to see on the power of GIS and disasters, followed by hashtag #IAM911 and the power of storytelling by Ricardo Martinez. Other topics include lessons learned from the deadly Tubbs fire in Northern California, a lunch and learn about self-care for dispatchers dealing with crisis, dashboards during Corona, highlighting how states have used dashboards during this emerging pandemic, how to assist rural communities to build GIS data capacity, and closing the day with an award-winning presentation by our very own Sarah Rollins on GIS and public safety, the new first response frontier. All right, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker for today. Mr. Francis Kelly is the Manager for Global Partner Programs with ESRI, and in his role, he focuses on the state and local government business sector. Before taking his current role, Francis was an international business partner himself of ESRI for many years. Today, he'll be speaking about the power of mapping and location as a key foundation as you respond to emergencies or disasters. Welcome, Francis, and thanks for being with us today, and take it away.
Jason, thanks so much for that great introduction and the recap of yesterday. And really, as we look at today, it seems pretty cool that we have kind of a bookending of GIS for disasters and then really ending the day with more GIS content. So I think it's a really good way to kind of begin and end that day, because as we talk about at ESRI, if you can't kind of picture it, you really can't understand it. Hopefully my audio is coming through clear and as well my video for everyone. All good?
Yep, you're coming through great.
Excellent. Folks, I really appreciate first and foremost your time and attention. It's a real honor to speak with you and in support of the work that you do for disasters. And I'm going to talk a little bit today about ESRI, about our work in disasters, and give you some real world examples. And I'm also going to jump to our website, because I always feel that public information that we share with our community is really important, and community is a big part of what we do at ESRI. Late last night, I was practicing this presentation and thinking about the current state of affairs here in the United States and globally. And I pulled out a quote from John F. Kennedy. In a time of domestic crisis, men and women of goodwill and generosity should be able to unite regardless of party or politics. And I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention, because it seems like we're all doing the right thing. As I call in here today from Boulder, Colorado, we here in Colorado are ensuring that we are keeping physically distant but socially connected. And I think many thanks to Michael Baker for actually bringing us all together in this forum, because we are, while we kind of stay in that physical distance, we are continuing to be socially connected. So many thanks to Michael Baker for actually pulling this together, bringing this community together, and really providing a forum for all of us to learn, grow, and communicate with our organizations and with this community. So I'm going to start out with an ESRI overview. For those of you who are familiar with the company, when I present this content, a lot of folks say, wow, I didn't actually know the depth and breadth of this company called ESRI and how much reach that you have and how much impact you really have in the world. So what I'll do is I'll just start out by talking about who we are, who we serve, what our technology is and our business models and some of the results that we've seen out there. And then I'll move into some of our technology so you can get an appreciation for what we're doing in support of disaster and how we go about ensuring success of those people who are dealing in those industries. So ESRI has been around for 51 years. Actually, last year we celebrated 50 years, and ESRI is a privately held company located in Redlands, California. Our organization is led by Jack and Laura Dangermond. We are a company that is maniacally focused on geographic information systems. We are all about ensuring the success of our customers. Here in the United States, we really do business directly. And then anywhere outside the United States, we have distributors who act as exclusive agents for ESRI in the territories that they've served. So as you can see here, we have more than 100 offices worldwide and professionals from 67 countries. We provide content, data, and software to all of those folks. So by the numbers, if you look at ESRI as an organization, our software is actually used by 90 of the Fortune 100. All 50 US state governments use ESRI technology. And I wanted to actually hang on that, especially for the folks on the phone today who might be thinking, gosh, where can I get and take action? Oftentimes, if you're in a city or a county over 100,000 people, you have access to ESRI software in some way. It's probably in a different area or organization that you serve. Perhaps in public works is a lot of the times where we start out, but all 50 US state governments, all of the most populous cities, all 15 executive departments and dozens of independent US agencies use ESRI software every day. So again, as we walk through today and show you some solutions, and as you look at and view my colleagues, Mike King and Anthony Puzo, their talks today, all of this information can be readily available to you by simply just figuring out who that person is in your organization who has access to our technology. As you can see here, lots of the top 100 Forbes top 100 colleges use our software. And a big thing about ESRI is we spend 30% of our revenue back on making the product better. At ESRI, we want our customers and our partners to do more with our software. And for that, we're really focused on investing back in our products and making them better for our community to use and leverage. Every day, the Living Atlas of the World, the largest collection of global geographic information, gets more than 1 billion views of maps and data sets. We'll talk about that today because we do have a hosted solution called ArcGIS Online. We have an on-premise, a hybrid, and then cloud native. Our story maps, you'll see Anthony Puzo talk about story maps today in his session. 142,000 people interact with our story maps. And then of course, all those folks who are using our software every day online are viewing maps, apps, and making decisions based on geospatial information. Who we serve, really when you look at ESRI's community, we serve from the executive to the person out in the field. So somebody who needs to see an operational dashboard that's just a picture of their current situation, their current situational awareness, all the way out to that, that police officer on the street or that census person, you have access to our technology, and we support all individuals in the organization. And really when we looked at our product, release 10.8, when we moved from user types to customer user types, that made a huge impact for our customers who can now have access to geospatial information at the right time, at the right place, for the right reason, for the right person in that organization. So this is a fairly standard deck for ESRI. As you can see, public safety has always been on an industry and business need that we support. Local and state government, transportation, natural resources, defense, intelligence. We work across industries and business needs. But as you can see here, we definitely focus on and embrace those individuals who are either making decisions in real time or near real time for their constituents. As you can see here, today's needs and tomorrow's needs, we talk about asset tracking and analytics. We talk about field service. We talk about logistics, real-time solution tracking, and of course, situational awareness, a big subject for us today. At ESRI, our technology is everything. We provide a platform for our customers, for our partners to develop onto or off of to create their solutions. We have the leading mapping and spatial analytics software for desktop, for software as a service, and enterprise applications. At the heart of that is what we call the geospatial cloud. And as you can see here with our capabilities, first and foremost, it's all about mapping and location enablement. Jason and I were talking before my session today, and I talked a lot with Jason about this concept of state and local government, the industry that I serve and support, as being the foundation for folks like yourselves today who are making decision on location. A lot of the times, your parcel maps, your tax maps make up that base layer that we go from. So mapping and location is very much a cornerstone of what we do. Field operations, whether you're out there responding or collecting information, data science and spatial analytics, instead of just looking at something, how about looking through it to understand trends in our data? We also have imagery management and analytics, real-time visualization, or near real-time visualization and analytics as well. 3D has become very important to us as we look out into an organization or into a facility to find what floor something might be on or someone might be on to respond accordingly. And of course, we have developer tools, data management, and then last but certainly not least, location analytics and spatial business intelligence. As we look through all of this data, we tend to find new answers and new interesting insights from the data. ESRI has deep integration with leading technology, as you can see here across analytics, IoT, content, cloud, and data science and developers. We have partners and integrations with leading technologies. And these might be some technologies you depend on today or are looking to engage with. A lot of the times I look out there and say, hey, it's kind of that circle of trust. You may be just learning about ESRI and may not trust us yet, but if you trust these other big names, know that we're in great partnership with them in both business and personal connection. We also have very big technology alliance partners. We have Microsoft, Adobe, and Autodesk. Our relationship with Microsoft has never been better. ArcGIS Maps for Office, ArcGIS Maps for Power BI, and then ArcGIS Maps for SharePoint. As well, we are and support the Azure Cloud as well as AWS, and we have a very special relationship with those cloud providers. Data location and services. When you look at ESRI's footprint and what we provide to our customers, it's not only the software, but we also provide a rich, thorough amount of content for our customers. Demographics, environmental data, base maps and imagery, business data, and then online and on-premise data. So we have curated a bunch of data, a bunch of content for you to use in your own solutions. So let's talk about the markets we serve. First and foremost, at the foundation is GIS, Geographic Information Systems. This is the foundation and the heart of what we do. Next is mapping, and that's really an output. A map is the output of all the GIS data that your organization has, where you can make some decisions. And now, location intelligence. I work a lot with companies like Wejo and Celient and Teralytics, SafeGraph. These folks provide human movement data so we can find new information out about our community, our constituents, how they're going and growing and moving. So with all of those data feeds out there, ESRI becomes that place to harness that data, to bring it in and make sense out of it in a meaningful way. Our business model is fairly straightforward. A lot of the folks on the phone today or in the session today might be scratching their heads wondering, gosh, I'm a city of 100,000 people. I wonder if I have access to that software. Our customers traditionally will purchase ArcGIS in enterprise agreements. This allows your organization to have access to all of our tools for a term of 3 years, and that is for everybody within the organization. So again, if there's any interest in or follow on to understand if your organization, if your community has access to one of our enterprise agreements for you to leverage, please reach out and we'll make those connections for you to the right person so you can begin your journey with ESRI. We also have industry bundles specific to public safety, security, utilities across industry, and then of course, product sales. Traditionally, we depend on our partners to provide services, but ESRI does have a services organization that provides managed services, consulting, and of course, training and e-learning. So that's our business models, and that's how we look to support our customers. We talk a lot at ESRI about the science of where and the knowledge of next. And last fall, we went to market and talked a lot about the next step. And we took the science of where and started to talk about see what others can. And I think that's incredibly compelling for this community. As we look at the science of where, looking at that point on a map and the science that has to do with it, then we look out and say, okay, what's the knowledge of next? Because that information can provide us with some good insights for what might happen. As we looked forward, we went on a campaign to talk about see what others can't. And I think as we look at disasters and disaster operations, that's where I'd like to kind of talk about is really your work and really addressing all of our world's challenges is what ESRI is doing. But as we look at your work, we want to make sure you can prepare, respond, recover, and mitigate. And this is a very important part of how we work with our customers. So we want you to first, as I always say, proper prior planning prevents poor performance. We want to understand risk, we want to evaluate resiliency, and we always want to increase awareness. After we prepare, we don't want to react, we want to respond. So we want to maintain that situational awareness. We want to conduct ongoing assessments. And we always want to inform our key stakeholders and the general public as to what's going on today. What's that situational awareness? And of course, as you look on my LinkedIn or the LinkedIn of many of my colleagues, the COVID-19 epidemic and pandemic has been a cornerstone of what we've been enabling our customers and our prospects and our community to work with so they can respond, not react to this crisis and maintain that situational awareness. And then as we move out of this time where we're keeping physically distant but socially connected, we want to recover and assess the impacts of the incidents, return vital systems back to normal, and really execute service and site restoration plans. So as we look to have proper prior planning to prevent poor performance, we can also help you respond, recover, and then mitigate. So we want to help you reduce or eliminate risk to people or property, lessen the consequences, and reduce the effects of disasters. So as we talk today, we're going to talk about preparation, responding, recover, and mitigation of disasters. So as I mentioned, being part of the state and local organization, local and regional government provide that foundational GIS layer. As you can see here, parcel zoning, asset optimization, urban design, regional planning, election polling, and heat maps to show where our people are. And those of you on the phone who are new to us can probably say, wow, those components or those outcomes could be things that I'd like to be doing in my organization. We also work very deeply with statistics, demographics, and human health. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is, again, more examples of how we're doing things with coronavirus, the virus risk dashboard, the opioid prescribing rate, social vulnerability to climate change, educational indexes, and then homelessness. So statistics, demographics, and human health, as we look at this stack of data that we can look through to provide you with that preparation, that response, that recovery, and that mitigation. Of course, public safety and security. This has been a part of our business that ESRI has supported since our inception, because GIS and location matter when it comes to public safety and security. Myself, as a brother-in-law to firefighters, to police officers, when I see what our products can do to help those first responders, it's very key and very compelling. So if you look here, crowdsourcing assaults, this is data from GBS Korea. Citizen reporting, so citizens actually reporting on what's going on in their communities to inform that first responder of where issues might be ongoing so we can take care of those. Fire and event management and real-time fire monitoring. Crime search and analysis, crime analytics, global threat detection. All of these outcomes are created in ArcGIS. Air-based mapping, military planning, CAD and situational awareness, tornado and coastal inundation. At one level, because we work so much with the federal government, it works very well. Our products, our solutions work very well and can be backed into your organization and support your disaster reliefs. Let's look at preparing and responding to disasters. Prediction, preparation, simulation, excuse me. Jumped back to there, sorry about that. Flood analysis, urban flood simulation, tornado damage assessment, earthquake zones, wildfire monitoring, storm surge monitoring, preparing for and responding to disasters. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, your organization most likely has access to and are actually completing some of these predictive analytical outcomes that you just simply need to find the right person in your organization to help with that, to help understand where that data is and how you can utilize it in your own work. So at ESRI, we believe we're transforming organizations by applying this power of digital geography. Big for us is citizen engagement, making communities smarter, creating sustainable development, integrating environmental thinking, and improving productivity and efficiency. At the end of the day, those of you who are responding to or dealing with disasters or reacting or responding to events, you want to have improved productivity and efficiency. And we believe at ESRI that our tools, our partners, and our ecosystem can help you with that. Because as we look out and say, we're applying this power of digital geography, that almost looks like digital transformation to a lot of our customers. And when we look at that concept of digital transformation, we're really bringing in technologies to help you work smarter, not harder, work faster, not confused, and really getting the outcomes you need to support your constituents and your community. So what's next? As we look out, as we've seen in the last 6 weeks of our lives, our human footprint is creating many challenges. There are many challenges that are creating an unsustainable future. And we believe at ESRI that we're helping that by providing a nervous system, really an intelligent and responsive platform that is ArcGIS, can help with sensing, cognition and understanding, and then responding, not reacting to those changes. Because really, when we are creating more understanding, collaboration, and action, geography is absolutely essential in that work. So when we talk about geography at ESRI, it's really the science of our world. We want to provide content and context and a common reference system. We want to help see complexity. We want to look at the relationships, the patterns and associations, and bring those all together. As I look at the world of GIS, I look at it a lot like lasagna. It's many different layers. And what makes lasagna great is when you have the whole bite of lasagna. So if we look through the data and all those layers that we have, it really becomes a delicacy of deliciousness of that data that can bring it all together and give us a really robust answer. And really, we want to help understand and intelligently respond. And I think that's a big thing when we look at disasters. And when I look at my own world as it sits today, it is up to us to respond, not to react to those changes that we have, and make sure we're using and applying data and data-informed decisions. So when we think about GIS, we look at GIS as projects, systems, and then a system of systems for geospatial infrastructure. Now, these are common implementation patterns of our products and services. So you can start off with a project, grow into a system, and then a system of systems. And I look at this as very much a journey that an organization can go on. They're going to start in one place to make sure that they have assessed and addressed the needs that they have in that project. They'll open up that project to have a greater system awareness, and then they'll start bringing in other departments, other groups, other communities to bring in this system of systems. And GIS really provides that framework and a process, because as we look at the measurement, the visualization, mapping, analysis and modeling, planning and design and decision making, we can then look out and take action. And for me, taking informed action is the very best place to be. Reaction is not the place to be. So as we see here, we're looking at sensing, understanding, and responding. And that's the foundation for a geospatial nervous system. We have an amazing community of users at ESRI. Our GIS community is really bringing this whole concept of the nervous system together. We're sharing data, apps, and geographic knowledge. We're able to have that project and that system and connect and integrate. And really, we can create that digital nervous system at many scales. And that's really why I started out with that state and local government slide, because that foundation is going to be something that you folks as responders and responding to disasters are going to use that great data as a base layer to your actions. So when we talk about this geospatial infrastructure, it supports individuals and organizations of all sizes. So we look to engage everyone, individuals, teams, departments, organizations, looking out to your community to inform them, to keep them sticky in your community. And then we move out to GIS at scale with sharing and collaboration and distributed and interconnected systems. And at ESRI, we integrate all types of data, from imagery to multidimensional, tabular, unstructured, vector, 3D, real-time and IoT, big data, LiDAR, and CAD and BIM. All of those data sources can be brought into the geospatial infrastructure to help you inform those decisions. And that creates a common language with maps, scenes, and layers. So really, we look at that as an abstraction. All of these pieces of data just come in as content. And again, looking through those provides us interesting information, interesting outputs, so we can take good action. And then, of course, with that input, we have great output, and we can deliver powerful capabilities across organizations, for GIS projects, to mapping, to data visualization, field operation, deep analytics, data science, and then dashboards. And these dashboards can be reused and repurposed. So you can have a dashboard for situational awareness, for traffic awareness, for fire awareness. All those things can be done. And they deliver those capabilities across your organization. We want to open up GIS to everyone. I think that's one of the reasons why I was asked to come in this morning, is to ensure that you understood that we're providing frictionless access for you with our products. We have pervasive web applications, massive mobile deployments, and embedded everywhere. So we actually not only work with many different types of data, but we can interface with many different types of systems. As you can see here with ERP and SAP, Salesforce, Adobe, work management, we work with Trimble, we work with Tyler, we work with Acela, with many different partners whose platforms need to be informed by GIS, or they need to further inform a GIS system of record. And this geospatial infrastructure is really transforming organizations. And that's another reason why I think we should connect more frequently, especially with Michael Baker taking this first step. If we connect more frequently as a community, we can help transform these organizations by making sure we're getting integrated, we have the right content, we have the enterprise and services, and we can embed our own tools and technology into your workflows. And we deliver our products as SaaS and software. So we do have an ArcGIS Online, and then we also have an on-premise. We have a hybrid, and then a cloud-native solution for you. So again, we can take that journey from beginning all the way through your vision for the future. And really, is at 51 years old, we really feel that the geospatial revolution is actually just beginning. And that's really because in the last 36 months, this concept of mapping and location intelligence has really come into a stride. And that's been driven by the consumerization of IT. More times than not, people have a mobile device that they carry with them, and that's location enabled. So this revolution is just beginning. And ESRI has been working in this area and created this market for over 50 years. So who better to turn to than the folks who invested their heart and soul into GIS and now are looking at this concept of mapping and location. Your work is essential. It takes your leadership. It takes envisioning what's possible and learning, sharing, and collaborating. When we look at a vision, we can say that down the road, we want to do these things, but we're going to have to do many steps to get down that road. So remember, your leadership is key, envisioning what's possible, making sure you have a plan, do, check, and adjust so you can learn, share, and collaborate. You want to have strategic thinking and business innovation, and really a passion to create understanding. And at the end of the day, to create a better world. So where are we going with our products?
Francis, we're about a minute over our time. Do you want to just maybe give us a wrap up?
Absolutely. As a wrap up, what I'd like to do is actually just jump over to a couple different assets that I wanted to make sure that you folks on the phone knew about. So first and foremost, on our industry page, you can see public safety and all of our public safety overview, as well as all the areas that we want to double click on. Safety and security, situational awareness, public safety, emergency communications, emergency management are all there at your disposal today on our website. As we go out, we have fire, rescue, and emergency and medical services. We have law enforcement, and then of course, solutions for emergency management. As I mentioned earlier, prepare, respond, recover, and mitigate. We have tools to support your ramping up and using our products right away.
All right.
In closing, I really appreciate everybody's time. I apologize, Jason Cheston, for going over. If you go to our website today, we have a lot of content for you on the COVID-19 maps, resources, and insights, as well as our solutions.arcgis.com to jumpstart your work with ESRI and our products. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Francis. Thanks everybody for joining us, and go join the next session. Have a great day.